So we got to do the 5-number summary here. What is that? What are the numbers? So we have the min here, the Q1 here, median here, there, and Q3 is here, and then we have the max here. So you get those 5 points, 5 points on the graph. Okay. So we usually list them. Please list them in order from least to greatest. So that'd be the min, the Q1, the median, the Q3, and the max in order, least to greatest. So the min would be about 5, between 4 and 6. I'm just going to say it's 5. The Q1 is it's really close to 8. I'm just going to round it to 8. The median is 12. The Q3 is 14. And the max is 20. Part B, it asks for the IQR. That's the interquartile range. You should remember that the Q here gives a hint that you want to use the 2 Qs. So the interquartile range using 8 and 14 would be 14 minus 8, which is 6. And visually, that just represents the distance between Q1 and Q3. So from here to here is 6. Okay. That's the middle 50%. It's in with a range of 6. And the regular range, which doesn't ask you here, but just to review, the regular range is from the min to the max. So that would be 20 minus 5, which is 15. If they ask you, max minus min. Okay. Number 12, 5-number summary would be, again, just start with this. Write out the 5 numbers, the labels at least, in order. Min, Q1, median, Q3. Now it's nice that these are already in numerical order. So our min and max, 114. Okay. Find the middle. So let's see here.
7.
Okay, so those are the middle 2 numbers, 6 and 8. So what's the middle of those 2 middle numbers? 7. Okay. And we go split it in half. So we have 5 to the left and 5 to the right. So what's the median of the first 5? What's the median of the last 5? So we have the median of the first 5 is 3. The median of the last 5 is 10. So there are our points. So we're going to graph from 1 all the way to 14, which means we should probably count by ones. I'm going to label every other, though. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So label your graph. It don't have to be exactly like this, but as long as all the information is on there, that will suffice. Okay, so our min is at 1. Okay, that's a dot. Our max is at 14. That's a dot. Our Q1 is at 3. Our median is at 7. And our Q3 is at 10. So that's the box. And then just connect them. Like that. And once again, they ask you for the IQR. So Q3 minus Q1 is 10 minus 3, which is 7. Okay. Very good. 13, we got to do a histogram. And they give us the intervals. There's only 3 of them. We have some space here. We have 12 squares, so I'm going to break them up into groups of 4. In order, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. So if we had like 5 intervals, I'd only do 2. I want to keep them as even as possible. Use as much of the graph as possible as well. Alright, so we made a tally chart before where we just kind of go through. This is a little bit easier since they're in numerical order. Okay, so how many numbers are from 0 to 4? We go up here.
2.
Yeah, so these first 3. Those 3 of them. How many are from 5 to 9? So there are 5 of them. Okay. And how many are from 10 to 14?
2.
Those 2. Alright. So 0 to 4 we'll have, my highest number is 5. So I'm going to count by, let's say, 2s. Every 2 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Count by as many squares as possible, but you have to fit the highest number. That helps you figure that out. Okay, now we can graph it. So 0 to 4 is going to go up to 3. Okay. And 5 to 9 is going to go up to 5. And then 10 to 14 is only 2. So there's your histogram. A few things about histograms, that these bars must be touching. There shouldn't be a space between them. So intervals have to be in a row from least to greatest. You have to have equal intervals for here. Those also count for points. Without labeling, we don't know what we're doing. Okay, good. There's a histogram. Now, standard deviation. So they look at number 12 and number 13. Number 12 had the exercises hours per week, and 13 had the hours of TV watched. And they ask you about standard deviation. How spread out is information? So it's good to think about standard deviation has to do with the mean or the median, the middle. And we know from here, it's the same information. The median is 7. So hours of exercise. Okay. The median here is 7. That's the exact middle. Okay. And for number 13, or right here, what's the middle there? Kind of like around 6, right? And we're looking at standard deviation, which is how spread out is everything. So how far is the biggest number from the middle? How far is it from 7 to 14? Like 7. How far is it from 7 to 1? 6. How far is it from 6 to 12? 6. How far is it from 6 to 1? 5. So which one is spread out more? Yeah, so this is only 5 away, 6 away, this one's 6 away, and 7 away. So it seems like the top one is more spread out. This has the greater standard deviation. Not by a whole lot. If you think about it like this, like, well, they each have a 6, so those are kind of offset each other. They cancel out in a way. And this one is spread out 7. This one's only spread out by 5. So yeah, this has a greater standard deviation. And this is a rough way of figuring it out. In a bigger whole stats class, you would actually get the exact number for this. The exact numbers come out to 4.1 and 3.6. So it's not a big difference in standard deviation. because I mean this is a 5, this is a 7. They're pretty close, but yeah, this top one does have more standard deviation. Number 15, which is the greatest? So which is, once again, which is more spread out? So you can think about the middle. These all have a middle about 12 or 12 and a half. How far is it from here to here? 12 to 12. Yeah, 0. How far is it from here to here? 0. So the standard deviation here is 0. There is no deviation from the middle. Everything is exactly the same. From here, I think about 12 and a half is the middle. How far is it from here to here? And you just keep going through this. That's like 1.5. That's 1.5 from the middle. That's a little more. That's a little more. But when you get to here, for B, how far is it from 12 to 16? That's 4. How far is it 12 to 8? That's 4. So this by far has the biggest standard deviation, or distance from the middle to the outside. Think of standard deviation as distance from the middle to the min and the max. And again, in a future class, you would actually calculate exactly all 4 standard deviations, and then you can tell more precisely. But this will work for now, just to get an idea of the concept, not really worrying about the calculation. Okay. All right, that's page 2.